Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only P-Dog Knight.
Hey there, hi there, ho there. You're as welcome as can be. M-I-C-K-E-Y. Just play this. Just put my face in the screen. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as P-Dog Knight, on the internet. And welcome back to the P-Dog Knight channel on this Tuesday, the 27th of February, 2024. And I'm happy that y'all have joined me today. Welcome. I'm a little tired because I had choir practice last night. I'm in this community choir that a friend of mine has been in for several years, and I decided to join it this year. And we're gonna sing the national anthem at a Minnesota Twins game. So we had a little extra rehearsal last night. I think it's opening day actually. We're doing that. And so I was up later than normal, and I didn't get a whole lot of sleep. But anyway, I'm fine. I got my cup. With the Duck Duck Grey Duck cup. For those who don't know what Duck Duck Grey Duck is, that's the Minnesota version of Duck Duck. No, I almost said Duck Duck Go. Duck Duck Goose. Like normal people say Duck Duck Goose everywhere else in the country, but in Minnesota, they say Duck Duck Grey Duck, and nobody really knows why. It's just a tradition that's unique to Minnesota and 3 counties in Ohio, and nobody gets it. So whatever. Anyway, let's get into it because I'm late and I want to get this thing started. So let's say hi to everybody and we'll just get right into the news. We're going to talk about some leftist violence, or at least some incidents that always seem, when it's possibly from the left, it's just for whatever reason, they don't think it's that, has to do anything with their ideology. But then the greatest threat to America is right-wing violence and, white supremacy and excuse me, MAGA Republicans. And so we'll get into that. So anyway, let's, so I don't really have anything other than intro, so let's just put my face on the screen and let's start saying hi to everybody. First, the chat over on Rumble, Mr. Avocados Diablo gets the bell. Oh, good morning, Jimmy Das Hotep, and Phantom Dog Fart, the greatest name on the internet, and Sully209. What's up? Nice to have you all over there. On YouTube, first in chat is also Avocados Diablo gets the bell. And Jimmy Das Hotep, also Johnny on the spot, Lickety Split. Good morning there too. Also good morning, Somnambule Nation. Trippy Liberty, what's up, my brother? Good morning, Kara Soldier, Mike Savage, Blarg, Andrew Thorsten, Simon Wolfwood, James Stoner, welcome back. Nice to see you again. My favorite Canadian Jaeger pony is in the house. TC is here. Also, who else? Come on. Godfox61, our fantastic administrator of the Discord server. I've been going on there a little more lately. I just try to keep up because I was getting behind. I'm trying to get used to using it, and so I'm getting better at it. I'm starting to send messages and shit there over there too. Also, good morning, Slim Tito 02. What's up? And let's see, Aaron Meredith's in the house. Is that the Snarkies here? And it's kind of light. I guess I didn't give people a lot of chance to get here. Good morning, GDSOB. And we'll figure it out. Lord Stanhope's also here. All right, so that's the rundown of who's in the house. So that's the call's coming from inside the house. You know why? Wait, Ricky Ravioli's here. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to skip you there, Ricky Ravioli. You're in the house too. So hello. Good to see you over there. And Jethro Hetero on YouTube. So, okay. So, make sure you follow me both on YouTube and Rumble and Odyssey and Twitter and, formerly known as Twitter and Locals. That's the big one. 'Cause that's the one. Nobody's going to shut me down on Locals. I can kind of say whatever the hell I want over there. So that's a good place to find out what's happening. You don't have to do a paid membership. You can just follow me there. and you'll still get the notifications. If you want to make that I use it like Patreon, but I haven't really promoted that yet because I'm not doing anything unique over there yet, but I will be doing some just exclusive local streams, maybe Q&As and things like that. And just shoot the shit type of streams over there that more, little more the personal side of P-Dog Knight, aka Marty, the guy who sits on the screen with you every morning. So good morning, Nano, too. Welcome, sir. Nice to see you. So let's get it started because I am behind. By the way, every day I do post all the links of everything we do here on the show, so that you can, if you want to find the articles that I talk about, they are easy to find. Wait a minute, let me refresh that so you make sure that works. Did I do this right? I think I did. I guess we'll find out in a minute. There. No, I didn't. What the hell? Did I not hit send? Oh my God. I tell you what, locals has become a pain in the ass because they changed the interface. Anyway, it'll be, I'll figure it out. So you may not have gotten a locals notification day. So, because it's a pain in the ass. But anyway, they and I'm not used to the new interface. Anyway, let's, oh my God. Oh my God. That's a picture I didn't want to see. And it's not even a body part. It's just that dude who set himself on fire, and it's a very, full engulfed in flames. That's not cool. Anyway, thank you first, before we continue. I want to thank everyone who's tweeting out the show. Somnambule Nation, TC, Jimmy Das Hotep, and let's see, it looks like a couple of you put both links up there. I'm really hoping that I don't have any problems. I restarted my computer. Hopefully I won't have any more troubles. Trouble. I don't know what any more troubles with Streamlabs OBS, and hopefully I won't have this little shutdown problem I had yesterday. We're just hoping that doesn't happen. So anyway, let's oh, thank you, Jimmy Das Hotep, for also putting out the show. I love it. Y'all are awesome. I appreciate you all more than you know. Okay, things that are happening in the world today, things that people are talking about. I don't have a special day, but I got here late, so I didn't spend as much time looking for that kind of stuff. But Macy's is trending. The department store Macy's, apparently. Now, let me tell you the news first, and then I'm going to go with the hot take that's it's corresponding hot take that some people are making with this news, and then I'm going to give you maybe a little more personal insight as to this. So, Macy's, the retailer, the big retailer, is closing 150 stores across America. And this person here, Vince Langman, says, thanks to Bidenomics, Macy's just announced that they are closing 150 stores across America. Elections have consequences. You know what? As much as I would like to blame it on Bidenomics, I don't think that's it. A lot of retailers are scaling back for various reasons. Now, I know that Macy's probably gets a fair amount of stuff stolen in certain areas, but we do have a Macy's near my house at the Mall of America. And the Mall of America still gets a lot of traffic, but not nearly the traffic it used to when malls were a thing. Now, the beautiful thing about the Mall of America, it has an amusement park in it, it has a big entertainment complex in it, it has all this other stuff. So people go there for other reasons, and then they just roam around the mall and buy crap. But retail's dragging because, online retailing is a big thing. Obviously, the things like Amazon and Walmart online and various retailers who've really upped their online game. Best Buy is kind of surviving with their online game. A lot of them are just closing down the brick and mortar. Good morning, Darren Root, by the way. And so it's National Albert Day, Protein Day, and Dominican Republic Independence Day. Well, there we go. There's official days. Thank you, Avocados Diabli, for updating us. So anyway, Macy's is closing a third of its namesake locations. It'll take a $50 million charge related to employee termination cause. Macy's warned that expects quarter one estimated sales to be 10 cents to 16 cents a share, far below the consensus estimate of 45 cents a share compiled by Bloomberg. So the AP article here is right here. Macy's to close 150 unproductive namesake stores amid sales slips as it steps in. It's stepping up its luxury business too. So there's something else they're trying to do. Maybe we could make this a fit here a little better. Let's try that. No, that doesn't work. What the hell's going on here? Why is this not? Does that work? No, not really. Well, here, we'll just put it back in the center. It's just missing the headline. So anyway, Macy's will close 150 unproductive namesake stores over the next 3 years, including 50 by the end of 2024. The department store operator said Tuesday after posting fourth quarter loss and declining sales. As part of the strategy, Macy's aims to upgrade its remaining 350 stores with plans to add more salespeople to fitting areas and shoe departments while adding more visual displays like mannequins. At the same time, the company signaled a pivot to luxury, which has fared much better overall. It said it would open 15 of its higher-end Bloomingdale stores and 30 of its luxury Blue Mercury cosmetic locations. So this is not necessarily the Macy's brand, but whatever. Prince Albert Day? No, I don't. Wait, not Prince Albert Day. What did you say there, AD? National Albert Day. Now, what? Should we look up National Albert Day? Hang on a second here. What the hell's National Albert Day? National Albert Day. Let's look that up here. National Albert. Oh. There's even special wishes. Here it is. National Albert Day. National Albert Day is a celebration in honor of all the Alberts around the world. Well, this special day is observed February 27th every year, and it's a perfect opportunity to show your appreciation for all the Alberts in your life. If you're looking for ways to celebrate National Albert Day, then sending wishes, messages, quotes, and greetings is an excellent way to start. In this article, we'll explore some of the best National Albert Day wishes, messages, quotes, and greetings that you can send to your loved ones. Just what? Hey, anonymity, T2. What's up, T2? I'll be back. And also, Amazing Disgrace. Welcome to the show. Happy National Albert Day to all the Alberts out there. Today we celebrate your unique name and all the wonderful qualities that comes with it. To my dear Albert. Oh, these are Albert Day wishes. To my dear Albert, I want to wish you a very happy National Albert Day. You bring so much joy and happiness into my life, and I'm grateful to have you as a friend. Another one, wishing all the Alberts a fantastic National Alberts Day. May this day be filled with lots of love, laughter, and good times, and family and friends. Okay. The best Albert, either Fat Albert or Albert Spear. Well, I'm partial to Fat Albert because I grew up watching Fat Albert, the Cosby Kids. What did they call that show? It wasn't the Cosby? No, it was Fat Albert, and he had all his friends, right? Fat Albert and Friends, or something like that. Anyway, happy National freaking Albert Day. Moving on, Don Lemon is trending in the news. Don Lemon is trending because Just In report says Don Lemon, who blasted Nikki Haley for not being in her prime, remember that, while calling her other politicians old, will be paid $24.5 million to settle his firing from CNN. Don Lemon's about to get a payday. And a lot of people are mentioning the Nikki Haley comments. He got fired for the Nikki Haley thing. So remember when he said this?
I agree with that. She says people, politicians or something are not in their
What the hell happened there? Oh.
prime. Nikki Haley isn't in her prime. Sorry. When a woman is considered to be in her prime in her 20s and 30s and maybe 40s.
What are you talking? Wait.
That's not according to me.
Prime for what?
Yeah,
it
that's
depends.
what I'm
It's
wondering.
just like prime. If you look it up, if you
Prime for
Google when is
what?
a woman in her prime, it'll say 20s, 30s, and 40s. I don't necessarily.
40s. Oh, I got another
I'm not saying I
decade.
agree with that. So I think she has to be careful.
So Nikki Haley, I think, Nikki Haley's almost 60, I think, which is whatever. Prime for what? She's not running for, Baby Factory. She's running for president. So it's silly, but whatever.
About saying that, well, you know, politicians aren't in their prime.
We need to qualify. Are you talking about prime for like childbearing, or are you talking about prime for being president?
What the facts are. Google it. Everybody at home. When is a woman in her prime? It says 20s, 30s, and 40s. And I'm just saying, Nikki.
Being hot. I don't know. Being good to go with those young boys. Okay, anyway, enough of that. So Don Lemon's going to get $24.5 billion after being fired. Lemon was fired last April after offensively citing Google results that say women like Nikki Haley, who are over 50, aren't in their prime. Haley now attacks Trump and Biden for being in their 80s. So anyway, so if you want to read the New York Post article on that, I'll just drop that in the links. I'm sure you're just dying to read about Don Lemon. Moving on, also trending, Bannon. Mr. Steve Bannon is trending, apparently. Steve, he had a speech at CPAC that people are talking about. And Carpe Diem was yesterday, I thought. Eat bacon, make love, leave the past in the past. Oh, Carpe Diem Day. That was yesterday. I didn't know that. Okay, Steve Bannon apparently has some ruffling feathers based on his CPAC, what do you call it? CPAC speech, or maybe he's encouraging some feathers. I don't know what that meant. Let me just drink a sip of my coffee because my brain's not working. Anyway, here's I'm just going to give you some of the notable clips that people put on here about Steve Bannon.
To every working class Democrat and populace in the Democratic Party, when we get to the White House and go through and adjudicate the fact that 2020 was stolen and this illegitimate regime, what they've done to destroy this country, nobody that loved this country would do what he's doing to the country, would they? Would anybody think about it for a second? What if our framers came back today and saw 10 million illegal alien invaders that they have gamed the system to bring here? Nobody. Give me that again, ma'am. Lock them up.
Who?
All of them.
Who? Lock who up? Garland,
Ray, Biden.
Oh, damn.
All of them.
Damn.
Mayorkas.
Damn. Well.
What they did to this country is unforgivable. And we will not forget it, and we will never forgive it until justice is done.
Okay, so that is why Steve Bannon has ruffled some feathers. And let's see. He also blasts Mitch McConnell, who's expected to publicly endorse President Trump and the MAGA movement ahead of 2024. What is this? Let's see what he says here.
When Murdoch said in the email they're going to make Trump a non-person. Remember that. Mitch McConnell was part of that. He has not shown enough respect to speak to Donald J. Trump, who outside of General Washington and Abraham Lincoln is an individual that has put his life, his fortune, and his sacred honor on the line. Might I noted 600 years in prison, taking his entire fortune. It's a $450 million fine right now. And Tish James mocks him every day. She puts it up on her site about the interest accruing and the penalties accruing. We don't need and we don't want Mitch McConnell's endorsement. He doesn't deserve to be part of this or to endorse anything. We don't want it. Endorsement, if you work in the endorsement, it's rejected.
Okay, I don't necessarily disagree with that. I think Mitch McConnell just should retire because I just think he's stuck, and I don't know what else to say about him. But Bannon's going off.
MAGA rejects it.
Bannon's going off.
MAGA rejects it. He's not going to try to get his name back. No. His whole thing is he wants his legacy, and he wants his thing as the big guy in the Senate and everything like that. Get that thing up at, I think, University of Louisville. Screw you. Screw that center. You're a frickin' demon. You've worked against this guy for years. We do not want the endorsement. And anybody on Trump's team is working on the endorsement. You're not working along the lines of what MAGA wants. MAGA does not want McConnell's endorsement. Don't talk.
Okay, so I'll leave it at that. Bannon, Bannon, trying to be gentle and mincing words a little bit there. I guess you never know. You never know what he's going to think. But anyway, the people, the lock 'em up thing, the retribution thing is really playing well amongst the lefties. They are excited to hear Steve Bannon speaking that way, and so they are acting accordingly. Moving on, Javier Milei is also trending because he spoke at CPAC. And I'm just going to give you, I'll leave the link open to the Twitter trending topic, but here's the message that you should have gotten from Javier Milei, who, by the way, has completely turned the Argentinian economy around from a mega budget deficit to a surplus in this short time that he's been there. Has he been there a year yet? They've just said, fuck it, we're not going to spend more than we have, take in, and now we have a budget surplus, and hopefully they'll be good for them. He's saying, fuck it, we're going to dump these particular government agencies, and we're going to get ourselves in line, and it'll be tough for whatever years it takes, but we're going to do it. He hasn't even been there 3 months. Yeah, he's already said, whatever. But anyway, here's the main message that you should remember from Javier Milei. Do not surrender your liberty. Fight for your freedom. If you don't, they will drag you into misery. That is the main message that he gave at CPAC. Now Nick Gillespie from Reason said, arguably the best part of this Trump-Milei moment is that the Village People's YMCA playing in the background. Though the two politician agendas have been linked by critics, Milei is fundamentally about shrinking the state. Trump, not so much. Yeah, that's my reservation about Trump, but versus Biden, I guess the comparison is not existent. But yeah, I don't think Trump is interested in shrinking the state, and I think that's something we need to do in our country quite a bit, especially the bureaucratic state. The bureaucratic agencies, they have too much power. I like the fact that the Supreme Court is evaluating the Chevron principle, which is, we talked about that a couple weeks ago. But let's just play this clip because I think it might be funny to play it and hear the YMCA playing in the background. Here we go. Let's fit that on the screen a little better. There we go. Here we go. Oh.
President!
Oh, Milei's very excited.
Honor for me. Thank you for the work for me.
Yeah, hearing the YMCA. Okay, so it is kind of funny hearing YMCA in the background because, you know what that song means. Anyway, all right, so moving on. Let me put my face in the screen for a second because I can't remember what's on this next section. Oh, Chuck the smarmy prick from New York Schumer is trending. And he's, Chuck's one of my favorite politicians of all time. But Chuck is a little bit upset about the fact that the House has sent over articles of impeachment on Alejandro Mayorkas. And apparently Johnson and Schumer. Oh, there's also a deadline because apparently there's possibility of another government shutdown. So that apparently Schumer and Johnson have been summoned to the White House as Congress barrels towards a deadline to avoid the shutdown. But apparently Chuck Schumer isn't so interested in doing the impeachment shit on Mayorkas, not doing the trial. And so Ted Cruz says Democrats will do anything to avoid having to defend Mayorkas' record. So Chuck Schumer's trying to break over 200 years of Senate precedent by tabling the impeachment trial and denying the American people the chance to hear the facts. And there's an article in the Daily Signal, which is kind of one of these pop-up right-wing sites. Oh, I don't have that on the screen, do I? There we go. As I scroll through here. Also, though, this is interesting. Chuck Schumer, here's a video of Chuck Schumer waving a Chinese flag. I almost forgot the L. Chinese flag during the Lunar New Year event this weekend. Here's a picture. And apparently he's, oh, well, I don't, okay, let me just be clear about this. I don't care. Look, there's Chinese Americans in New York City, and looks like he's the grand marshal of this event. He's one of the grand marshals. So yeah, he ends up waving a Chinese flag. I mean, it's kind of with an American flag. So he has both. And there's the mayor of New York, that dopey bitch. Anyway, but the bigger thing is Chuck is talking about tabling this articles of impeachment, which it would be unheard of in American history, I guess. Oh, and here's another time where Chuck says, "We will pay the price." Here's if we don't do what he says and fund Ukraine. Here it is.
With this urgent aid package, Congress has a chance to ensure Ukraine wins the war, to ensure Putin is not victorious, to ensure that Western democracy can thrive in the 21st century.
Okay, again, Ukraine has nothing to do with Western democracy, Chuck. It's a country that's run by an autocrat coke addict, okay? And he's already canceled elections and banned opposition parties. That has nothing to do with Western democracy, Chuck. I get it. You're worried about the Soviet Union coming back, but they're still Russia right now, okay, Chuck? And NATO has surrounded them. So granted, I don't think it's a good idea that they've done what they've done in Ukraine, but the fact that we've prolonged it by sending them constant aid and weapons, I don't know if that's helped anything either, because it seems almost inevitable. But here we go.
Let me say, if our allies see that America doesn't support its ally Ukraine,
again, Chuck, Ukraine is not our ally. That's just it. They're not part of NATO. We might have an agreement with them because they gave up their nuclear weapons and whatnot, but they're not necessarily our ally. Hello, Andrew Thorson, by the way. But I get it. You have Mitt Romney and Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden and all have familial ties to Ukrainian businesses, and probably I don't know, is there a Ukrainian stock market they're invested in? I don't know. I don't know why they think this is. Oh yeah, I forgot, because it's against Russia. You remember Russia? The Russia that Hillary Clinton got us all fired up about? Yeah, that's the only reason that you can get American people to support this, because of course Donald Trump is a Russian spy or Russian plant or whatever, even though that was all some shit made up by Hillary Clinton and the Democratic Party. So that's why Chuck is talking about it.
they will no longer be our allies. They will know that
will
they cannot.
Really? Oh, you think that if we don't defend Ukraine, the one country that probably has the most at stake in defending Europe wouldn't defend Europe? Is that what they think? They think that we'll just abandon all of Europe? And the fact that all those countries are tied together through NATO, can they defend themselves at all? I don't know. Maybe. Oh, wait, they haven't necessarily. Well, they pledged to step up their commitment to improving their own protection and not having us do it all. But I don't know how much they've actually done. And it's probably backtracked since Joe Biden's been in office. But anyway.
Depend on America. And even worse, if the autocrats, the vicious dictators like Putin, like Xi, like the heads of North Korea and
Zelensky. Oh, wait.
Iran, see that the United States will turn away
Chuck,
from a challenge like this,
yes.
They will be emboldened. So anyone who thinks that, oh, this is far away, this does not have consequences for the American people are wrong.
Yeah, because you've made it a proxy war.
If we turn away from Ukraine over the next decade and several decades, the American people and America will pay the price.
You will pay the price, Kavanaugh.
Diplomatically, politically, economically, militarily. It's a moment.
Okay, Chuck, shut the fuck up. Nobody cares. Anyway, that's Chuck Schumer. Ladies and gentlemen, Chuck Schumer. Really? Nothing? No, nothing? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Chuck Schumer is done talking. Oh, there we go. I knew that would work. Moving on. All right, Seth Meyers is trending. Apparently, the president of the United States did a hard-hitting interview with Seth Meyers on late night. Now, the only thing that's really funny about this, because apparently he was very, very, for a change, Joe Biden was alert and funny and apparently had a sense of humor, which is interesting. And so what's funny about that, though, is people were saying, yeah, man, he's on that late night show and he's just seemed to learn his thing. He's not tired. He's not an old man, without maybe realizing that they taped that show at 4 p.m. and they probably gave him a good couple of hits of Adderall to make sure he's alert. Here it is. First line of this story. In fact, here's the story line in the Hill. Late night Seth Meyers to interview Biden. President Biden is staying up late and making an appearance on late night as the NBC show marks its 10th anniversary with Seth Meyers in hosting the chair. Except they tape it at 4 p.m. So he's not staying up late. He doesn't stay up past 7 o'clock. So the Hill can shut the fuck up. All right, moving on. By the way, speaking of that Seth Meyers show, this was breaking yesterday. Breaking, pro-Palestinian protesters have taken over the NBC Center lobby to disrupt President Biden's appearance on Late Night with Seth Meyers. Currently, hundreds of protesters have taken over the NBC Rockefeller Center lobby located in Manhattan, New York, to disrupt the appearance. So that was at 4:25 yesterday, but he was already in the taping. How many hearts and minds do protests like these change? Well, look, that's part of his base. That is a part of his base, and they are not happy with them, and they are not going to turn out for that old man because he's on the side of Israel. All right, the CIA is trending. This is kind of big too. Apparently, the New York Times has disclosed yesterday that the CIA built 12 secret spy bases in Ukraine, waging a shadow war against Russia for the past decade. After a U.S.-supported violent coup toppled Ukraine's democratically elected government, CIA Director John Brennan visited Kyiv in April of 2014. Shortly after, the new Ukrainian government launched an anti-terror operation against its Russian-speaking citizens in eastern Ukraine. For 8 years leading up to Russia's invasion in 2022, Ukraine's government, with the help from the CIA, relentlessly bombed eastern Ukraine. Millions of innocent civilians were caught in the crossfire of a geopolitical chess match between Russia and the United States. This is part of the story often ignored by the Western press. So, well, isn't that interesting? Yeah, thanks, Obama. And FTG to the CIA. But so now you got to go, wait a minute. What brought this on? And here, this is the video here is of various clips of John Brennan. What is this? Let's see.
Various people have said that John Brennan, the head of the CIA, traveled possibly under another name to Kyiv. And I just wanted to know, did he travel there? Does it have anything to do with this action?
No, it happened only in some commands from Moscow. I don't know. So thank you.
Were you okay? It's a video of just several incidents of them asking you whether or not John Brennan had anything with these bases. 2014, after investigating the coup in Ukraine, Director Oliver Stone concludes that the CIA initiated an uprising that ousted the former Ukrainian president. Well, yeah, of course. Because okay, all right, here's a question. I'll put a poll question on this one. This will be a good poll question. After hearing what I just told you, does it surprise you? Did I spell that right? No, I didn't. Surprise. I forgot the R. Surprise you that the CIA is involved in Ukraine. There's the question. There's the poll question. Does it surprise you that the CIA was involved in this Ukraine mess? It doesn't shock me at all, but I'm just asking you because, you know. Okay, also trending Sky News. Sky News is trending. And this is because, and this is the kind of a media thing and how they do things. So here is a report by Sky News that you may or may not have seen. This is from, was last week? No, it's from yesterday. Breaking. A woman who filmed herself killing a cat before putting the animal in a blender has been jailed for life for murdering a man 4 months later. And then they have the story. Read more at Sky News. Cat killer Scarlett Blake, who had an obsession with death, jailed for life for murdering a man. Okay. Scarlett Blake appeared at Oxford Crown Court on Monday after being found guilty last week. Warning, the story contains description the reader might find distressing. Blake live-streamed the dissection of a family pet after watching a Netflix documentary called Don't Fuck With Cats, in which Luca Magnotti kills kittens before filming a murder. So anyway, now let me just explain to you why this is trending, though. Why Sky News is trending? Well, because this woman, Scarlett whatever, well, is it a woman? This was not a woman. If you wonder why folks do not trust the media anymore, look at yourselves and your own reporting. Willful ignorance is not a good look for the media. And there is a community note on this. Scarlett Blake, the perpetrator, was born biologically male, but identifies as a woman. And apparently they have a Telegraph article, transgender cat killer. Oh, and now and I guess it's a controversy because, at least in the UK, because transgender cat killer to be jailed in men's prison for murdering a stranger. Transgender cat killer. Now, that's interesting that they describe this person as a transgender cat killer, seeing as this person also murdered a human being. So anyway, that's why people are upset that just the media. Look, here's Julie Harley Brewer insists the media and press must report facts rather than disinformation following J.K. Rowling's clash with Sky News over the pronouns of a cat killer, Scarlett Blake. We are being lied to. Facts are not transphobic, hateful, or bigoted. This is let's listen to this little ditty here. Let's see what this one says.
Describes the individual that's in front of them at that time. If the courts
and the media report them as women, it's not true. It's a lie. These are men. Now you can say they are men who identify as being women. You can call them trans women, but the pronouns that they should refer to as men, and they should be referred to as he and his, rather than she and her, because it is a factual untruth to claim that this is a woman who has carried out this crime.
The courts should use the legal definition of that describes the individual that's in front of them at that time. If the courts have changed someone's sex legally in all the documentation that's there,
even then, the
courts because they're still going to put this person in a male prison, because the person is physiologically male. I don't know. Hello, Damien Gershwin. What's up?
Then refer to that way, but that is not what then the press should do.
Anyway, this is a controversy, and everyone's talking about it. All right, I'm going to move on because I need to get to the main topic today, which is, by the way, this is an example, though, of how media tends to acquiesce to leftist ideologies. And so one of the big things that you see in the media right now, or especially with the Biden presidency and, the things that come from the FBI as far as who are the biggest threats to America, okay? And Joe Biden made a speech not that long ago, he's made more than one speech saying that, the biggest threats to America are right-wing violence, or the biggest threat to America are, white supremacists, somebody this and that, or extreme MAGA Republicans. You know what I mean? They're constantly pushing that button, right? Well, there have been several incidents recently, and not even just recently. There have been incidents as my entire lifetime that says just the opposite is true. There is far, just exponentially more examples of left-wing violence, political, and particularly left-wing political violence that I know of in my lifetime, and even in the, think of the 60s, think of all the left-wing political violence, the bombings, all this other shit, right? You think of the Black Lives Matter movement, which, you know, the actual Black Lives Matter people, not necessarily, but the people on the periphery, the people who took advantage of those protests and decided it's time to break shit, right? Those are not right-wing violence. You know, just all kinds of things. During the inauguration of President Trump in 2017, January 2017, all the violence that broke all over the country, protests of Donald Trump, burning of buildings, and, you know, people getting beat in the streets and whatnot. That's not right-wing violence. Back in the 2015-16, when conservative speakers would go to college campuses and people would attack them, that was not right-wing violence. Yes, you have the examples of, oh, we have Charlottesville. Oh, they'll milk that for days and call that right-wing violence. Why does the media recognize left-wing violence, though? So let's get into a few that have happened recently. As of even just yesterday, this one, exclusive. Read the death threat sent to Donald Trump Jr. with white powder. Okay? Former President Donald Trump's son, Donald Trump Jr., had an unexpected surprise Monday after he was sent a letter containing white powder and a note with a death threat, causing a hazmat unit and firefighters to arrive at his Florida home. It's just become a little too commonplace that this sort of stuff happens, Donald Trump Jr. told the Daily Caller. Clearly, if this had happened to a prominent Democrat, it wouldn't be tolerated and would drive news coverage for weeks. The media would blame all Republicans and force them to answer for that. But since it's me, radical haters on the left will largely get a free pass, and the media will barely flinch. 100% correct. It doesn't matter what your politics are. This type of crap is unacceptable, Donald Trump Jr. continued. This is actually the second white powder substance envelope that's been mailed to me. The last time we had this happen, it was during my father's presidency, and my then wife opened it with my kids by her side. So it's just sad that we live in a society where politics on the left's hatred of my father would drive people to go do such crazy things, but that's where we are, unfortunately. So this is the letter. Now, you know what? Who knows? It very well could be a hoax or something, but I'm not going to say it is or isn't. I'm just saying that, so here's the note, I guess, that Lee Harvey Oswald's grandson must complete his contract. I don't even know what this means, but anyway. So the hazmat team came in and made sure that everything is cool there. Now, it could have been just Hunter Biden trying to sell some cocaine or something, but I don't know. But now, okay, so that's one that it gets downplayed in the media. Also, now this one has me questioning things a little bit about the event and everything about it, because, you know, but let me tell you what happened first, or at least what allegedly happened, and then I got a little 2 cents on this. Breaking: man accused of being paid by Ukraine to assassinate Tucker Carlson. It's difficult to be sure what's real anymore. If reports are going around are in fact true, there needs to be more serious questions about Ukraine than just whether the U.S. should keep giving them more and more American taxpayer money. Allegedly, keyword allegedly, a man named Vasily Pyotr Alexeyevich has been arrested in Moscow under suspicion that he was paid by Ukrainian intelligence to assassinate independent journalist Tucker Carlson while he was in Russia to interview Russian President Vladimir Putin. There's a video of Alexeyevich allegedly confessing to the plot to kill Carlson through a car bomb at the Four Seasons Hotel he was staying at. The man was arrested by authorities before he could carry out the terrorist action. Now, above, the word allegedly was used because Alexievich's confession almost seems scripted. One cannot put it past the Russians to produce propaganda, but we can also not discount these reports as false. We will update this blog as more information comes in. So again, it's, you know, you're never sure when it's something happened in Russia, but they're going to try to stay with that. But let's go back to other potential leftist violence. So there's possibility of an attempt on Tucker Carlson's life. Also, an explosive device detonated outside an Alabama Attorney General's office. No injuries were reported. An explosive device was detonated outside Alabama Attorney General Steve Marshall's office early Saturday morning. He said in a statement on Monday, Marshall said that no staff or personnel were injured in the explosion. In the early hours of Saturday, February 24th, an explosive device was detonated outside the Alabama Attorney General's office building in Montgomery. Thankfully, no staff or personnel. Okay, this is the same damn sentence twice, almost 3 times. The Alabama Law Enforcement Agency will be leading an investigation, and we are urging anyone with information to contact them immediately. The announcement did not say if a motive had been identified or if there are any suspects. Alabama Law Enforcement Agency told Breitbart News that special agents discovered the detonated explosive approximately 8:19 a.m. on Monday after receiving a tip of a suspicious package near the intersection of Washington Avenue and South Bainbridge Street in Montgomery. Agents were then able to determine that the explosive device had been detonated in the early hours of Saturday morning, according to the agency, which noted that no damage to nearby buildings had been reported. The agency said no further information is available as the investigation is ongoing. Now, here's the interesting question. When asked if the incident could be related to Marshall's stance on in vitro fertilization, Amanda Priest, spokesman for Marshall's office, told CNN that the media should not jump to conclusions about a specific issue. One day before the incident, Marshall announced that his office had no intention of using a recent Alabama Supreme Court decision to prosecute families pursuing IVF or IVF providers. Now, this is interesting the way this is put, because I guess this must be a report from the CNN pool, possibly. It's interesting though they asked this the way they asked this because they've made a big deal about how embryos in Alabama, I guess they made a law or something that says they are children or whatever, and the fact that I don't know that people would be upset if he said, well, we're not going to act on this immediately. But I think the people who would be mad that this might restrict abortions in Alabama, it would seem to me that those would be the ones who would be more interested in committing violence against the judicial process in the state of Alabama. So anyway, Marsh said he had no intentions of using a recent Alabama Supreme Court decision on the basis for prosecuting IVF families or providers. In February, the state Supreme Court ruled that frozen embryos are considered unborn children under state law and that anyone who destroys them may be held liable under the state's Wrongful Death of a Minor Act. Don't know. That's a tough one, man. I totally don't agree with that, but that's what their law is. The ruling raised complex legal and ethical questions and has sent Democrats and Republicans scrambling to introduce legislation to protect IVF in the state. At least 3 clinics in Alabama reportedly paused IVF services following this ruling. So it makes you wonder, okay, did they do this because of that ruling? That's a good question. But in another interesting article from yesterday, state universities are teaching students how to blow up oil pipelines according to records. I can't even believe this. At least 16 universities are promoting the book called How to Blow Up a Pipeline, which outlines for readers how to commit eco-terrorism, oftentimes making it required reading, a Daily Wire investigation found. The book was published in 2021 by Swedish professor Andreas Malm and calls for terrorism and overthrowing capitalism, acknowledging that people will be killed as a result. Quote, demolish them, burn them, blow them up. Let the capitalists who keep investing in the fire know that their properties will be trashed, the book says. Now, multiple state-funded universities took classes that were nominally on related topics and contorted them into courses that read just 4 books, including the Pipeline Manifesto and a Communist Manifesto. At the University of California, Berkeley, shocker! For example, students of geography and interactive biology, whatever the fuck that is, were required to read the book. Instructors Jake Kosick and Paul Fine took what was ostensibly a biology course and transformed it into one on decolonization. Yeah! Hello, Asmodi. How you doing? And also, I see someone who else. Oh, Tales of Gore's in the house. What's up, man? Nice to see you. The syllabus states that the classes focus on the scientific practice of modern botanical taxonomy as a... Wait a minute. I'm sorry. I couldn't get through the sentence. Let me start this sentence again, because I'm going to explain. This is what the class is about. The syllabus states that the class focuses on the scientific practices of modern botanical taxonomy as a colonial formation that conditions our modern relations, and how the names of plants were often forged to be of service to empire building. I almost want to put a dum as that sounds like a joke to me. I mean, good Lord. By the way, the Morning Night Live is brought to you by you, the sponsor, the people who watch the show. Hit the like button, share the stream, and if you want to sponsor the show, over there, PDognight.live. It's also pinned at the top of the street, of the stream. Holy shit! Now, the lessons across the country suggest that universities' support for terrorism extends beyond the students supporting Hamas on many campuses. In fact, the book looks to Palestinian terrorists for inspiration, advising that, quote, as part of the mass resistance to the besieged Gaza Strip in the spring of 2018, Palestinians invented techniques for sending kites and helium-inflated condoms carrying incendiary materials across the wall to burn Israeli property. End quote. U.S. intelligence identified the book as a developing threat and security risk because MOM encourages pipeline sabotage and property destruction. 23 government agencies, including the FBI, warned that the film adaptation of the book, released in 2023, could spark terrorism. Good, my God, they made a movie on this book! Are you kidding me? He said kites. Calm down, y'all. Anyway, a New York Times interviewer was taken aback at Mom's willingness to cause death. It's hard to think that deaths don't become inevitable if there is more sabotage, the interviewer said. Sure, if you have 1,000 pipeline explosions per year, if it takes on that extreme scale, but we are some distance from that, unfortunately, Mom answered. Don't say unfortunately. Yeah, he's like, oh, it's unfortunate that we're not to the point where we could kill people. I mean, okay, anyway. But no, this is not any form of left-wing extremism that we should be worried about, or at least talk about. See, the FBI is concerned about this situation, but, they're not labeling it as left-wing extremism. Isn't that special? All right. And then also, and this is another example how the left-wing media protects terrorism or violence that the left is just fine with. So now this is a little different. MSM twists itself into pretzels over illegal immigrant murder case. We talked a little bit about this yesterday. Now, there was a time when the word journalist would not be used as a pejorative. I am not sure how far back in time you would have to go, but I am certain that there is an era in which people existed, and such people existed Are we talking about Edward R. Murrow, Walter Cronkite? While Murrow and Cronkite both lean left, at least their listeners and viewers did not have to sift through their reports to see if they could find any nuggets of truth. But today we have selfie stick journalism. I know that in terms of popular culture, the selfie stick has gone the way of the hula hoop and the triceratops. But today's writers, I can't bring myself to call them journalists, use their craft at least in part to showcase their social elitism. That is maybe a quarter of the population. The balance is made up of the now ingrained inability to think analytically and deliver pertinent information in the minds of these writers. Whatever confirms their biases must be true by default. That which challenges those biases must either be untrue or irrelevant. Now, I would add a couple other words, or misinformation or disinformation. So Laken Riley was murdered by an illegal immigrant from Venezuela named Jose Antonio Ibarra. He was released from custody because of the lack of detention space. He had the borders been secure and a proper vetting process in place, chances are that Ibarra would not have murdered Riley, because the U.S. has more than enough murderers, rapists, and assorted criminals as it is, and there are no reason to add to their ranks with foreign imports. Ibarra's immigration status is an extremely salient point. Now, of course, the people who write for the mainstream media cannot even consider that. Various media outlets have practically discovered new yoga poses to downplay and ignore the Ibarra immigration status. This is CNN took time to mention the fact that Republican leaders were commenting on the tragedy, which intimates that conservatives are trying to co-opt the matter as an election year talking point. No, not that the guy was, an illegal immigrant from Venezuela. The piece states that Latino student groups at the University of Georgia are receiving hate comments. What? Why? Oh my God. As to the fact that Ibarra was a criminal left to roam the country unimpeded and unsupervised, here's what CNN writes. In a recent Pew Research Center report about the U.S. southern border, 57% of Americans said they believe the large number of migrants trying to enter the U.S. leads to more crime, even though many researchers have found no such connection. Oh! Now, perhaps this is because people across America are better eyewitnesses than the researchers that CNN cares to cite. Not to be outdone, though, the Associated Press published an article that ignored Ibarra's criminal record and immigration status and focused on the danger of female runners. Now, that's the one we showed you yesterday. And I can sympathize. My wife used to run, and I would often go with her to the high school track and watch her and ask her to run at a fitness center or with a friend simply because society is becoming more savage. So that point is well taken. However, the media would rather have us ignore the fact that mixed in with the dreamers and those simply yearning for a better life are hordes of evil people looking for fresh hunting grounds and new markets to ply their trades. Now, American Wire had other examples. Farm worker found guilty of killing University of Iowa student Molly Tibbetts, CNN wrote as the headline at the time, as reported by Fox News. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, and this is another one. The AP, farm laborer convicted in 2018 stabbing death of Iowa runner. The AP, meanwhile, wrote as a headline. And the Daily Beast, Iowa farm worker found guilty of murdering Molly Tibbetts. X users took to their accounts to upbraid the various media outlets for inartfully and quite obviously dancing the immigration component. You can see some of the response. Okay, they have links to responses. But anyway, they just go out of their way to keep the narrative of to be something else. And it's pretty disappointing. Farm workers and teens for illegals. Yes, that's exactly what they use. So anyway, we have results of our poll. Does it surprise you that the CIA is involved in Ukraine? 96% said no. It doesn't surprise us at all. So somebody voted yes just to put a turd in the punch bowl. Okay, I'm just kidding. Let's see. I'm going to give you the rest of the headlines and get the hell out of here because I'm out of time. So let's do this. In the American Thinker, Joe Biden plans a trip to the border to upstage Trump. Yes, Joe Biden's going to the border. Here it is from the New York Times. President Biden is planning to make a rare visit to the southern border on Thursday, his press secretary said, traveling to Brownsville, Texas, on the same day that former President Donald Trump is already scheduled a border trip. So, because Trump's going to the border, and Trump's going to talk to Border Patrol agents, and he's going to actually see what's going on there, and the Border Patrol agents probably really like Trump because, you know, he supports their work, that their actual work, not just the, you know, sandwich making and processing thousands of illegal immigrants. But anyway, let's finish the article, the clip here. On his Thursday trip to Brownsville, Mr. Biden plans to meet with Border Patrol, law enforcement, and local officials, according to Karine Jean-Pierre, Mr. Biden's press secretary. Mr. Biden did not directly answer a reporter's question on Monday about whether he would meet migrants directly. Oh, gee, because he's going down there to talk to them as they cross over the river? Is that what they want him to do? The president is expected to put the blame for the migrant crisis on House Republicans who blocked a bipartisan package that would have enacted severe restrictions at the border. Bullshit. It would not have. It would have made it easier for them to process them faster. But I digress. And to call on Congress to come together and address the challenge. Mr. Biden said he had planned to visit without being aware that Mr. Trump would be also traveling to the border. Yes, nobody on the Biden team had any idea what Donald Trump would be doing that day. They do not follow his schedule. They do not keep tabs on him. They do not listen to what he says. They just play it in the dark, hoping that they don't cross paths with Donald Trump and might have to actually have a debate on a stage or something like that. Anyway, now this already sounds ridiculous given that it's obvious he's going to the border because President Trump is going to the border. He's just sensitive enough to know there's an election on, and polls show that voters consider the border his biggest failure. And so the Times makes note of that. But now he supposedly cares about the flood of humanity being admitted into the U.S. on his watch and the millions and millions outnumbering the populations of 36 states. Hey, he's all over it, right? Well, Bill Milligan noted that Biden, as usual, has it backwards. So here's what Bill says. Interesting that President Biden has chosen Brownsville and the Rio Grande Valley sector for his visit. It has been slow there for months, only getting around 200 to 400 per day. All of the RGV sector recently, across the RGV, Rio Grande Valley sector recently. Yesterday was 314 encounters. Meanwhile, in San Diego and Tucson, those sectors are busy. Now, you can, here, there's the tweet here. Meanwhile, San Diego and Tucson sectors busy in blue states with typically 1,000 to 2,000 per day. Biden's last visit to the border was in El Paso after a huge surge of illegal crossings where the streets had been cleared of migrant camps, and the visit was highly sanitized. Biden did not see or talk to a single migrant, nor did he visit a Border Patrol station. We'll see if it's different this time. So anyway, he's going to the wrong place. And in fact, another round of migrant street releases took place this morning in San Diego as migrants looked puzzled with nowhere to go. Migrants here tell me they crossed illegally into the U.S. on Saturday and have now been released into the, whatever the UA, 48 hours later. So, I don't know what the UA is. But anyway, so yeah, Biden's going to go to the border finally. Finally, Joe Biden has come back to the border of the United States of America. Hilarious. Anyway, that was my best rock imitation, if you're not familiar. All right, let's see. What did I have else here? I got to hurry up. That was in the Daily Caller, Katie Porter says one incident of murder shouldn't shape U.S. immigration policy after nursing student was killed. Say what? One instance of murder? There's been over 2,000 of these murders in the last 4 years of Americans by illegal immigrants. Democratic Representative Katie Porter of California downplayed the need for policy changes after the murder of a nursing student, Laken Riley, during a Monday CNN appearance. The University of Georgia police arrested Jose Antonio Ibarra, an immigrant from Venezuela who crossed the U.S.-Mexican border illegally. Okay, let's see what she says. I was going to cut this off, but let's see what dipshit here says.
This is according to U.S. Immigrations and Customs Enforcement. Out front now, the Democratic Congresswoman Katie Porter. She sits on the Oversight Committee, and in her state of California, the number of illegal border crossings is up 60% in one city versus a year ago.
60%!
But I wanted to
60%! But the border is secure. Up 60%.
Start with this. I mean, we can all agree this is a horrible, horrible thing that happened. It shouldn't have happened, but it did. Former President Donald Trump today.
It shouldn't have happened, but it did. Do you say the same shit about mass shootings? Is that how you treat mass shootings? The so-called mass shootings, like in Kansas City? Well, this shouldn't have happened, but it did. It's, It's funny. These happen. Or, a shooting happens. Oh, well, no, we got to do something. We got to do something. We got to do this, blah, blah, blah. This incident happens. Oh, it did, but we shouldn't have to change policies. We shouldn't have to do anything. It's interesting.
They called it out. He writes on social media, the monster who took her life illegally entered our country in 2022 and then was released again by radical Democrats in New York after injuring a child.
Mm-hmm.
I know that you may not choose the same words, but do you share his outrage?
Probably not.
Well, I think when a horrible tragedy like this happens, I think whenever we're dealing with violent crime, there is a sense of outrage, of sadness, and of loss. But I think the important thing to focus on is any one instance shouldn't shape our overall immigration policy, which has...
Any one instance of someone using a gun to kill people shouldn't shape our overall policy on the Second Amendment. Have you ever, I bet those words never crossed her lips.
So many different facets, including economic choices about what workers to allow in and how to create prosperity in America. So the situation is tragic and it's a loss, and it's important to acknowledge that, but also to recognize all the other...
so torn up about it. You know what I mean? She sounds just totally broken up.
All the other parts of immigration policy fit together.
Well, so the number of migrants crossing into your state illegally is up, as I referenced a moment ago. The LA Times says in San Diego...
The secure borders.
So there were nearly 25,000 migrant border arrests in January,
shit.
which is a 60%.
Yeah, border arrests. It's funny they say border arrests. You mean border processed. Illegal border crossers processed. They don't arrest them. They release them within 48 hours into the United States.
% increase over the same exact time period just a year ago. Now, President Biden has announced he's going to go to the southern border in Texas this week.
He's going to go to Brownsville instead of San Diego. That's perfect.
And obviously he's not been to the border now in over a year. Do you think he should be going to your state as well?
Well, I'm really heartened that President Biden is going to the border. Of course, we would love to have him come visit the border here in California. One of the things I've heard over and over again in Oversight Committee hearings is that our southern border isn't a monolith. The challenges that our border personnel and communities face.
Okay, I'm going to stop there. Because I got to go. But let me just show you what's left here. Breitbart, Biden administration used parole loophole to free Laken Riley's murder suspect into the U.S. That was, again, they were saying because this person was, he had been arrested, I think for attacking a kid, and still they let him out. And so, example, the illegal, let's see, he got into the U.S. thanks to President Joe Biden's parole pipeline into the nation's poorest southern border. Immigration enforcement officials have since confirmed that Antonio Ibarra is an illegal alien who first arrived in the United States-Mexico border in September 2022 near El Paso, Texas. Rather than being held in detention or immediately removed, he was released in the United States interior via Biden's parole pipeline. Biden's parole pipeline is part of the Department of Homeland Security's Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas' expansive catch-release network at the border, where every day thousands of illegal aliens are apprehended and then promptly released into the American towns and cities with the expectation to show up for an immigration hearing years down the road. Which they could end that without legislation right now. And it's such bullshit that they're saying, oh, well, Republicans blocked this policy that we're supposed to put, it would have stopped illegal immigration in its tracks. It's a fucking lie. Anyway, moving on. Hunter Biden blew away potential legal defense in Axios interview. Turley says, oh, he did an interview in Axios, and apparently what he said can in an interview kind of messes up his court case. You can read about that in the Daily Caller. Judge orders an indictment of indicted FBI informant to be detained until trial. The guy that a federal judge in California ordered the longtime FBI informant accused in an indictment of fabricating a multi-million-dollar bribery scheme involving President Joe Biden and his son Hunter Biden to be remain detained in jail. Alexander Smirnov, 43-year-old dual U.S.-Israeli citizen who served as an FBI source for more than a decade, seeks to be let go after being arrested for a second time in the days that followed a different judge in Nevada, allowing him to be released on a personal recognizance bond with the GPS monitoring. But now they're gonna keep him in jail. Probably. What are the chances of him being Epstein? That's what I'm worried about. Anyway, this is the guy who's a key witness in a Biden inquiry in Congress, and now they're saying, oh, well, he's been arrested because he lied about something. Anyway, exclusive Biden administration planted operative Jeff DeSantis in Fannie Willis's office to target Trump, according to sources. The Biden administration planted a Democrat operative inside Fulton County office to target former President Donald Trump. According to multiple sources familiar with the Fulton County District Attorney's Office, exclusively told Breitbart News. If the Biden administration planted the operative, as sources say, it would present a strong argument that the administration interfered in the 2024 presidential election. Oh my goodness. You got to read that one. Thank you, Kara Shoulder, dropping a big or small bullet in the tip jar. I appreciate it. You are the new Extreme Lab Superstar sponsor of the day. Thank you, Kara Soldier, first sponsor today, who says, it's getting to the point that Democrats will do anything to allow criminals to run free. It's not enough just to capture them. The boot or the gun, those are our choices. Yeah, well, they don't care about criminals. They care about political opponents. So political opponents can stay in jail forever. But the people who actually commit crimes, well, we're just going to let them go and see what happens. Hope they don't do anything. We'll get them a promise not to do anything bad while they're out, and then it'll be all fine and dandy. So anyway, this is if this is true, that would be another reason for a mistrial in this case. Not let alone the prosecutor and the attorney general or whatever have been stupid. Anyway. El Salvador President Berkeley warns Americans at CPAC you must unapologetically fight against the globist elites. He was talking about his experience and how fast El Salvador went to shit and said at CPAC, you don't want this. You do not want to be like El Salvador. So interesting article. Joy Reid links desire to have kids to slavery and white supremacist conspiracy. She thinks, Joy Reid, what is wrong with this crazy hatch? I'm going to give you the headline. You can read the rest. MSNBC host Joy Reid attacked Senate Republican Tommy Tuberville of Alabama on social media Monday after the former Auburn coach defended a ruling on in vitro fertilization. Tuberville praised the Alabama Supreme Court's February 16th ruling while attending the Conservative Political Action Committee conference last week, saying, we need to have more kids, according to USA Today. The United States has a population of north of 327 million people, Reid said in a video posted on the Chinese-owned social media app TikTok. Why do we need more kids? And she tied it to white supremacy and slavery. I'm not kidding. Now, I disagree with Alabama on the in vitro fertilization thing, but Joy Reid said that the desire to have more children has to do with slavery and white supremacy. Fucking brilliant. In PJ Media, Florida judge attacks free speech of YouTubers and journalists. Jeremy and George Hales have a very large YouTube channel with over 500,000 subscribers called What the Hale. The channel focuses mainly on buying abandoned storage units and selling the contents for profit. The Hales family has become so successful at it that they began a philanthropic effort to give back to those around them, sometimes buying abandoned storage units and then returning the contents to the owner. The Hales is well loved by their audience and community. At least they were until they bought property in Levy County, Florida. Now, what happened after that, the Hales say, involves being stalked and harassed by neighbors at gunpoint, defamed with posted signs all over their town alleging heinous crimes against children and more. When Jeremy filed for a protective order against a female neighbor, the state of Florida wouldn't give him one. So Jeremy filed in his home state of Ohio, where the judge took the matter seriously and immediately granted the protective order. But the neighbor problem didn't go away. The neighbor then filed a protective order against Jeremy, which Judge Craig DeThomas temporarily granted. The injunction against Jeremy included an overboard restriction of prior restraint on his free speech, ordering him not to talk about his neighbor on his YouTube channel. If anyone uses his neighbor's name on his channel or causes his neighbor to be contacted, the judge says Jeremy can go to jail. So it puts journalists in an interesting position. If I reach out to the neighbor for her side of the story, the judge can jail Jeremy. In essence, a judge in Florida is restricting the right of the press to get to the heart of a story, through threats of removing the liberty of the subject of the story. Now, this has got to be, I knew it. This was our friend Megan. This is the type of stuff, this is right up Megan Fox's alley. Anyway, read the rest of this, because Megan will find a way to get to the bottom of this story. And then finally, apparently, U.S. federal law enforcement documents reveal how China is secretly arming American criminals with machine guns. Apparently, this has to do with fentanyl trade, and it's a book by Peter Schweitzer. You got to read this. You got to read the article. Anyway, I got to go, guys. Thank you for joining me today on the Morning Night Live. I appreciate your support through the like button and sharing the stream. Share the stream after the show, not just before. Share it after the show and see what happens. You never know. Every once in a while, people pop in and show up, and we get new people like Asmati, and we get new people like, all of you were new at one time. Hi, Green Badger Outdoors, by the way. All right, I got to go. Thank you. Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock Eastern. I will drop the links in the chat during the outro and update the description on both YouTube and Rumble so that those links are there. That's it. I got to go. My name is P-Dog Knight, and I'm out of here. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Hey, this is P-Dog Knight, and thank you for watching today on the P-Dog Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P-Dog Knight, and I'm out of here.